Welcome to mini set number 1, video number 2, where we are going to start journalizing the transactions. But as with everything, we may have to make sure that the documents are noted properly. This is page number 1, so we're going to put a number 1 on that very first general journal. We're going to try and get through at least 5 of these transactions, and we'll move as quickly as we can. We have May 1st, so we're going to put the date here as May. We do not repeat the month as we go through this journal until we get to a different month. So it's always going to be considered May. The day is number 1 because that's the first day of the transaction. And analyzing the transaction, we can see that we have our cash in bank that's affected, and we have our capital that's in fact affected. And cash in bank is an asset. We know it's going up because you put money in the bank, and assets go up by virtue of a debit. The capital is an equity account, and it's also going up. But equity accounts go up by virtue of a credit. So we'll turn to our journal and we'll put the very first one in, which is going to be the cash in bank. And it was for a debit of $50,000. The credit was going to be the capital. And the amount was a credit for $50,000. The source document cited is memo number 1. Next transaction, and maybe we should mix the colors up a little bit to try and keep it a little more organized. The next transaction was on May 2nd. Okay, let's put the date in there. There's May 2nd. The owner invested a desktop computer and printer, which is which the account is the office equipment, valued at $3,500. So office equipment and investment. Again, he put value into the business. So that's the capital. Same as cash, right? It's value. The equipment was worth something. Office equipment is an asset. Assets are increasing. Assets increase by debit. Capital is an owner's equity account. It's also increasing, and there's your credit. First one, office equipment. How much was it for? $3,500. Debit, $3,500. Second account affected was the capital. Again, capital. And we're going to try and keep them all lined up, right? So we're going to put our capital right here. The source document was memo number 2. And I didn't put the dollar amount. So there's your credit. Okay. That finishes that transaction. The next transaction was on the 2nd. Again, we're going to repeat the day. Even though it's the same day as the previous transaction. And yes, we didn't repeat the month, but we do repeat the day. And you'll see why that's important. Let's read the transaction. Issued a check, which you know where cash comes from. It's going to come from the cash in bank, so I'm going to real quickly just scribble that one in there. And it was for purchase of office supplies. Well, that's another account too. Office supplies. You can see that there's an office supply account over here. And we have cash in bank is going down, right? It's an asset and it's going down, and that's going to be our credit. Office equipment, it's an asset account. It's going up, and there's going to be our debit. We always, 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 with no exceptions, journalize the debit first. So office supplies. How much? $125. Cash in bank, it's going down. $125. The source document noted here, well, we used a check to do it, so the source document is going to be check 101. I don't mind if you use a nice clean abbreviation for it. Next one. The next transaction took place on the 3rd, so let's put a 3rd in there. What happened on this day? Bought office furniture. Well, we know that there's an office furniture account, so let's say office furniture. And how did we buy it? Well, we purchased it on account. But from whom? We bought it from Office Systems. That's the company name. So we owe them money. So that's going to be our accounts payable, Office Systems. Right? So office furniture is an asset account. It is increasing. There's our debit. Accounts payable, well, that's a liability account. It's increasing. There's our credit. Debits first. Always debits first. Office furniture. How much was it for? $2,700. Credit, accounts payable. Who was it for? Office Systems. How much? $2,700. Very good. Next transaction. Next transaction takes place on the 7th. What happened on the 7th? Let's put the date in there first. Oop, let's go back. Quickly put the memo. Was it a memo? It was an invoice. Okay, we're looking at the source document for the 7th, for the transaction that took place on the 3rd. And we would say invoice $457. I'm kind of moving through this fast. I'm getting ahead of myself at times. All right, so let's go back again to the 7th. Let's put the date in there. And what was the transaction? Well, the 7th we bought. Let's see if this doesn't get lagged up on me. We bought a web server, and that's an asset. You can see it's listed in the assets over here. So web server. How did we buy it? Well, from Computer Specialist on account. So we know it's going to be accounts payable, Computer Specialist. All right. Web servers is an asset. Assets also increasing because we have more of it. There's your debit. Accounts payable is a liability. You have more of it, but there's your credit. Assets first. So web server. How much was it for? 35 grand. That is one expensive server. Credit, accounts payable, Computer Specialist. $35 grand. All right. So that gives us 5 transactions completed. It brings us up to the 9th. We will pick up our next video on the 9th. Now let's not forget the source document. I tend to do that at times. It's going to be an invoice number. This is the invoice that Computer Specialist sent us. WS 465421. Okay, there you go. We're going to end the video there. It is roughly 9 minutes and 15 seconds long. I will see you in video number 3.